Today I wanted to talk about my rim to rim to rim hike. I've had some questions and I just wanted to create an entire video. So for today's video, we are going to take a walk around the Red Rocks as I share with you all the details that you need to know if you are planning on doing either rim to rim or rim to rim to rim. Also, I'm going to put timestamps on this video so that you can quickly find what you're looking for here. Hopefully that's helpful. Check the description so you can quickly navigate this video if you need to. All right, let's do this. Right now, I am at one of the most beautiful red rock places to hike in St. George. This is a super popular place to come and get a gorgeous view of the city. There's also a very busy road that runs right next to this hiking area, so please bear with me if you hear other people in the background because I'm not alone here. Don't you worry, this is not the only stop that we will have today. I'm gonna take you around this area, show you around a little bit, and also talk to you about rim to rim to rim. First off, I want to talk about training. So I had a lot of questions about my training, what I did to prepare for this hike. And I don't know if you guys are gonna like this answer. I didn't train specifically for this hike. My lifestyle is extremely active. So before I did rim to rim to rim, I was walking at least 4 miles almost every single day, 6 to 7 days a week. I was also doing HIIT training or high intensity interval training, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I would go on long hikes at least every other weekend, if not every weekend. And you can see all of those on my channel. If you go back through, you can watch the hikes that I've done. But other than that, I really didn't do like a lot of training specifically for rim to rim to rim. But also, I didn't really know I was going to do rim to rim to rim until 3 days before I actually did it. So my training isn't anything specific. And I know that might bother you guys. I had someone ask for like my training regimen, and I don't really have one. I was just extremely active in my daily life, and I knew that I could do the mileage comfortably and the elevation gain comfortably. It was just a matter of how long was it going to take me to do all of that. Another point with training that I wanted to touch on is probably a lot more mental than you would think. You have to be willing to push through discomfort. Prepare for your body to not feel great sometimes, but still needing to move forward. You also want to have like a keen awareness of how your body is responding to the elements around you. I feel like those things only come from repetition. It comes through doing physical activity like that often. So whether that's hiking or like my HIIT training or my walking, I know what my body needs by how it feels, and I'm able to tune into that. So that is another thing to train for. I know that doesn't sound like training, but it's also a really important skill to know what your body needs in the moment. Understanding when you need water, when you need electrolytes, when your body needs food, rest, recovery, all those things. Knowing what your body needs is a crucial part of training for rim to rim to rim. Rim to rim alone is a difficult hike for most people. So understanding your body and what it needs through that time is going to be super critical if you want to successfully complete this hike. I will also put a map of my Strava, which I record all of my physical activities through, on the screen now so that you can see what I did over the previous 8 weeks before I went to Grand Canyon and did the rim to rim to rim hike. Now, 8 weeks might not be enough for most people training for something this large. You may need 3, 4, maybe 5 months of heavy training in advance for something of this magnitude. So be sure to check in with yourself and know what kind of training that you need for yourself to cross that canyon, because I really don't want you to have to be helicoptered out of there. Also, I am a personal trainer, so I understand exercise routines and physical activity really well, and like I said, I understand my body really well. So I knew what I was capable of for physical activity and hiking specifically, and I knew that this was possible for me. If there is any question whether you will make it or not, I recommend not doing it. There is always next year to try something of this magnitude. Be sure that you are steady in your training and you understand all the risks. All right, let's go find another cool spot. All right, I really hope the audio quality is good here because we're gonna film here. If you can hear the kids screaming in the background, I'm sorry. This segment, I wanted to talk about the logistics of rim to rim to rim to give you an idea of what your options are and what I did personally and how that differed from my original plan. So originally I had a bag shuttled from North Rim to South Rim. I dropped it off the night before my hike. So my idea was to stay at the campground, Mather Campground, that night. I was going to stay till 1 or 2 a.m. so I could get rest, I could eat food, recover. I was gonna take my bag back to Bright Angels Lodge on the South Rim so that the next day it could be shuttled back to North Rim where I would be ending my hike. The distance between the lodge, the campground, the trailheads, it was a lot further than I thought it was. And I guess I only looked at Google Maps and I thought it would be close enough, but it ended up being probably an extra 3 or 4 miles. After having 25 miles of walking on my legs, I decided that sounded crappy, and for half of those miles I'd be carrying a duffel bag on my arms. So I decided against that. Also, there were a lot of elk, like big elk, all around the campground, and I really did not want to walk around the campground at night and have a potential run-in with one of these huge animals. I just wanted to play it safe. So what I ended up doing was starting the North Rim at 4 a.m., hike to the South Rim. It took me 10 hours, 8 minutes. I picked up my bag at the Bright Angel Lodge and I took a shuttle ride to Mather Campground. I probably walked a mile from my campground check-in or the shuttle stop all the way to my actual campsite. And then I set up my tent for maybe 2 hours. I cleaned up, changed my clothes, ate, cooked food, did all the things. And then I loaded everything back into my duffel bag and I walked it back to the shuttle stop. At about 5:15ish, I ended up back at the shuttle stop. I took the shuttle. The shuttles were a whole crazy thing. I dropped my bag off at Bright Angels Lodge. I bought a Red Bull. Then I got a shuttle ride to South Kaibab Trail. I didn't start hiking South Kaibab Trail till about maybe 7:10. So if that doesn't tell you about the shuttle situation, yeah, it was rough. So I started hiking in pitch black. It was already completely dark by the time that I made it to South Kaibab Trailhead. And it took me just under 12 hours to hike all the way back to the North Rim. Now, I did have to wait around on North Rim to get my bag shuttled back to North Rim from the South Rim, but I already knew that was the case. I want to talk about the luggage transport system and the shuttle system for just people coming back from rim to rim. I used a company called TransCanyon Shuttle or something like that. I'll link the website right here and show you which place I went through. When I called to book this, the employee that I called and was talking to had not a lot of good things to say about the company. He said that bags go missing because you're dealing with the public. You literally leave your bag at the desk and hope no one takes it. And if you don't attach the right tags to it, then it won't go to the right place and they'll just leave it. He said that the shuttle drivers aren't trained very well. He just had a whole bunch of not great stuff to say. Which surprised me. I decided to take a risk, hoping that my bag would show up on the other side. I suppose I got lucky because it did. When I got to the other side, though, I went to the desk to pick up my bag. She took me to this closet area where they have all the bags that get shuttled over. And she's like, it's not here, so let me see if it's somewhere else. And at this point, I was panicking because all of the stuff I needed was in there. And I knew that was a possibility, but I went for it anyways. But then she went into another area in the gift shop and came out with my bag. So that was interesting. It seems like it's not a very good system. It's not very organized. So that is something to be mindful of if you are choosing to shuttle a bag across. I believe that if you are using the shuttles as a passenger, you're probably a lot better off than just shuttling a bag and hoping for the best. So I chose to bring a bag that was like completely old and worn out and undesirable for most people, just to make sure no one would mess with it or steal it. The last segment of the logistics portion of this, I wanted to talk about the trails I took and why I took them. There's really only 2 different trails you can take on the South Rim and only 1 trail that you can take on the North Rim. So from north to south, I did North Kaibab to Bright Angel Trail. And then on the way back, I went South Kaibab to North Kaibab. The reason I did this is because I have done the North Rim to Bright Angel Trail before. I was confident and I knew what the trail entailed. I really liked having water stops on the way out of the canyon because it's hot and you're thirsty. And it's really nice for me to be able to get my whole body wet because I like to hike wet so I can stay cool. So that was why I chose to end at Bright Angel Trail going north to south. I wanted to start the South Kaibab Trail on the way back because there are 0 water stops from the South Rim to Phantom Ranch. I believe it's 7.5-ish miles that there are 0 water stops. Going downhill, that's completely fine. I don't drink a lot of water going downhill. I don't think most people drink a ton of water going downhill, but going uphill in the heat of the day, having 0 water stops for 7.5 miles can be dangerous. So that's the part of the trail where I think a lot of people have issues. So if you are doing rim to rim or rim to rim to rim, be sure to have a understanding of what trails you're taking and why you are taking them. Okay, that's it as far as logistics. Let's go somewhere else. This next segment that I want to talk about with you guys is food. This is a super, super, super important part of your hike. Hiking first down into the canyon, across the canyon, and then out the other side, it burns a massive amount of calories. So making sure you have enough food and the proper food is going to be super important when it comes to hiking rim to rim or coming back to the other side. I want to talk about food that I brought. I really, really overpacked on this hike, but I always do, and I would rather play it safe and have a little extra weight than not have enough food and be in a bad situation. Let me try to list all the things that I remember bringing. In my video, I showed almost everything that I ate. Okay, so I know I had honey stinger waffles, 2 of them, 2 honey stinger gummies, 2 pieces of beef jerky, 2 blocks, the Cliff Bar blocks, salt tablets. I had 2 Lara bars, 2 almond butter packets, 2 Perfect bars, Pop-Tarts. I basically had 2 baggies of snacks and that had the same exact things in them because I know those are the snacks that I like when I hike. So I brought 2 bags with the same exact things. One I shipped across in my bag, and then the other I just had on me so that I could eat along the way. And then on the south side, I had food shipped over. So I had couscous that I ate. I had an almond milk latte. I did not end up eating everything. That might not sound like a lot. For me as a hiker, I don't eat a whole lot when I'm on trail, but I am very careful to eat enough. Usually I have to force myself to eat enough when I'm hiking huge hikes like that. The thing that really, really helped me was being able to cook a hot meal when I got to the South Rim. I felt like that really, really boosted me and helped me have enough energy to come back to the North Rim. And then I bought a Red Bull from the Bright Angels Lodge right before I got back on the shuttles and back to the South Rim Trail. I don't recommend packing light as far as food ever. I would always pack a lot of salty foods and a lot of foods that will help you replace the minerals that you're sweating out as you're doing this big hike. For you, that might be too little food. And as you are training and hiking and getting ready for this, you should be aware of how much calories that you need to eat. You always want to overpack, because if you are in a situation where you have to spend the night in the canyon, or if you need a medical evacuation and they can't come for several hours, you need food, right? So you want to make sure that you have plenty of food. Okay, let's go find a final location to talk about gear. All right, let's talk about gear, in case there are people out there that want to do rim to rim or rim to rim to rim. I used a Osprey 28-liter pack that I use on almost all of my hiking. I also used my Black Diamond trekking poles that I always do long distance hikes with. And this hike, I did something a little bit weird. I decided to hike in my Road Runners. So normally I hike in my Ultras. I have Lone Peak 6s and I have Lone Peak 5s that I'm wearing right now that have basically no tread on them, and they are super, super thin. If you can see, there's like no cushion to them, right? It sounded like a good idea to hike in something that's squishy and had a lot more support than my Ultras. I did get a couple of blisters on my pinky toes, but beyond that, they did really, really well. For pants, I had a pair of leggings and I had a pair of shorts. I also had a sun shirt, a windbreaker, and yeah, that's the clothing I brought. I had a pair of features for socks. I had this hat, some normal sunglasses. Decided to use a 3-liter Osprey Camelback, I believe it's called. So it's basically just a 3-liter bladder that I can put water in. I also brought a water filter. I would recommend always bringing a water filter. The first time I hiked rim to rim, I didn't use it at all. This time I wanted to use it, so I stopped at one of the rivers on Bright Angel Trail and I filtered water from there. And it was really nice. You won't always use it, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I had a headlamp. I think I'm gonna buy myself a better headlamp. I really couldn't see a whole lot. To me, it felt like I could barely see anything. And it was the new moon, so there was zero light coming from the moon. So the bottom of the canyon was dark. If you have any recommendations for headlamps, let me know in the comments. I would be really, really interested to see what kind of headlamps you guys like to use. I had a first aid kit, never used it. I think that's it as far as gear. I did not need a whole lot of gear because I had everything shuttled. I did have like camping gear as soon as I got to the South Rim, because I had my tent, sleeping pad, I had my sleeping bag, my cook system. Like, I had everything because I thought I was going to be spending the night there. If you're interested in what stuff I use for camping or backpacking, I'm gonna link a video here that will basically take you through what I take backpacking. So it's what I used in Yosemite. I brought the same exact items basically. Yeah, I think that's it. I did have my phone, obviously, which I had all my maps on. I did bring a portable charger to charge my phone. I kept it really simple. Let's go somewhere else so I can talk to you about what I would change if I were to do it again. So if I were to do this hike again, I think I would only change a couple things. And I was really happy with how it all worked out fairly smoothly. It didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go, but it still went really well. If I were to do it again, I possibly wouldn't get a bag shipped over. And I probably wouldn't pay for a campsite. I think that the Bright Angel Lodge and the amenities on the South Rim are more than enough to keep a hiker comfortable and relaxed while recovering before starting the journey back. I don't think I needed the campsite. I think it was more of a luxury. I was really happy to have it at the time, but logistically, yeah, I don't think that I needed it. So without having a bag shipped over though, I would be carrying more food, which would make my pack slightly heavier, but I don't think too much heavier. Also, not having a bag shipped over would mean I would have to hike back in the same clothes that I hiked over in, and That's not a big deal. It was really nice having a fresh pair of clothes that I could put on when I got to the South Rim, but it's not like a necessity, right? So more of a luxury again. So not having a bag shipped over is probably something that I would play around with the next time I do this hike, if I do it again. However, if you are thinking about doing this hike, do what's best for you. Another thing I would change about this hike is I would love to do a hike like this with somebody that I know. Honestly, hiking in the dark for 5 hours across the Grand Canyon floor, it was a bit lonely at times. Like I said in my video, I listened to podcasts and music and audiobooks, things like that, but it still got lonely. When I was climbing out, like the last 3 miles, when I started running into people, it was like a total relief. Like it really felt like it gave me life to run into people, and even if it's just for a brief second, it was just like that human interaction really made a big difference. So I think that being able to do that with somebody that I know would have changed everything. I really don't think I would change anything else about the hike. I feel like it went really smoothly. I was very, very grateful with how everything turned out. Maybe I would spend a little less time on the South Rim, but I felt like the time that I did spend there was pretty relaxing besides all the bus chaos. If I didn't ride the bus around, I probably would have spent like 3 hours hanging out on the South Rim and then decided to hike back. If you are still here, thank you for watching. That's going to wrap up this video. I just really wanted to share this video to anyone who is going to do rim to rim or rim to rim to rim, so you have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I am really, really good at responding. I love interacting with my subscribers on this channel. It's so fun to hear your experience and what you have to say, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. So leave your question in the comments below and I will be sure to respond to it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.